BBVA Greenfluencers, a BBVA podcast.
Finance with purpose and real impact. Episode 26. Leyde Mena, Head of Corporate and Investment Banking, Continental Europe and Middle East at BBVA, meets with Sylvia Wisniewski, CEO at Finance in Motion. They discuss how this pioneering impact asset manager channels private and public capital into emerging markets to promote sustainable economic growth, environmental protection, and social development across the globe.
Hello, and welcome to a new edition of BBVA Greenfluencer, a global initiative led by BBVA Corporate and Investment Banking to better understand the changes taking place across industries to promote a greener and more inclusive world. Today's guest is Finance in Motion, a global impact asset manager with a strong commitment in sustainable finance to generate a positive environmental and social impact. We are joined by Sylvia Wisniewski, who is the CEO and co-founder of Finance in Motion, and who has welcomed today us here in their beautiful headquarters in Frankfurt. We have some topics that we would like to cover so that our audience better understands how you are bridging the financing gaps in climate change mitigation and financial inclusion.
Well, thanks very much for the invitation. And before I come to your question, allow me to give you a bit of background on who we are and what we do. As you mentioned, we're an impact asset manager, so we're focused exclusively on alternative investments with a particular focus on emerging markets. Or to express it slightly differently, we're the doorway to investments that matter in high-growth economies that you cannot find easily somewhere else. Well, what is really characteristic for us is that we invest with a long-term proposition and also in secular trends. So those, let's say, investment propositions that really have a very long outlook and a very long investment thesis over years and decades even. So this is exactly what we're focusing on, and this is why we chose two main routes. One is what we call the green economy as one, let's say, investment strategy, and then the other one is financial inclusion. Well, what is characteristic for us, next to this focus on long-term trends, is that we have very strong local teams. We have really boots on the ground, so we are there where the markets actually are. And that allows us to identify investment opportunities much earlier and also better investment opportunities. And at the same time, it allows us also close monitoring and an active, let's say, accompanying of our investments.
So Finance in Motion is a global leader in impact investing. At this moment, we are seeing an evolving landscape in terms of political changes and as well as shift in the priorities regarding sustainability. So where do you see the key trends that are going to shape the future of sustainable investment?
Yeah, definitely. I think we see paradigm shifts, at very different levels. It starts from a shift from globalization to nationalism, where local governments really focus on home. And we see that, for example, global free trade is now being challenged. We certainly also understand that there's a new coalition of global leaders, global powers, which are questioning, let's say, the rule-based system of international organizations, alliances, and accords. We see very erratic policy making, so the fundamentals of political decision makings are being put in questions, as are democratic values. And when we look at our own industry, so the impact asset management industry, while in the past I think the challenge was more to convince others that we are not doing greenwashing and that we deliver credible impact, now the challenge is rather that people all question the business case of impact investing. So do we really, provide solid returns to investors? That's now the fundamental question, particularly in the US, though we see that at least in Europe for now, the stance is a very different one, and policymakers are, backing up the Green Deal. But that's for now. Now, what does this all mean? Obviously it means a lot of volatility in capital markets. It means a lot of unpredictability. It means that it's very hard to understand what are the fundamentals now in this new environment for taking investment decisions, long-term investment decisions. And there's also certainly the question about impact investing. Is this just, a temporary fashion, or is this really there to stay? So how do we deal with it? I mean, first of all, we stand very firm in our belief that impact investing is going to stay. And we see this also when we look at our own data points. We transacted 10 billion over the last couple of years with very strong risk return performance and generating very credible impact for people and planet. And what we see as a clear evidence that we do things right and that investors trust us is that we record every year steadily 2-digit growth rates. So obviously investors like what we're doing, and that's the best proof that you can have.
And given these trends that you just mentioned, how is Finance in Motion going to adapt their approach to sustainable investments?
Yeah, actually, we need to look at the two sides of the coin. I mean, on the one side, what happens on the client side, but then also what happens on the investee side, on the asset side. Well, when it comes to investors, I would say there are a couple of adjustments that we undertake. I mean, on the one side, obviously, we work even more closely with our current existing client base. They know us very well for years, decades even. We know them also very, very well. So we do a lot of co-creation together so that we really develop products which really respond to their needs. Number two, I mean, as we understand, there's a heightened risk perception now when it comes to the operating environment, and even more so when it comes to emerging markets. As you know, we are a pioneer, a leader in blended finance, and therefore we continuously work on innovative blended finance solutions so that we can provide additional risk protection also to our institutional investors. We also certainly look at some, investor groups where perhaps we so far have not covered them to such an extent, and that is on the one side regional investors. So those that actually invest traditionally in the markets where we are also investing. So obviously the topic of risk perception is not really that relevant for them. But also we are now extending our ties to family offices, particularly those that have an interest in very tailor-made or bespoke asset strategies. And then the second part of the coin, that refers to the asset side. And there, to be honest, we have not changed that much. Which is, strong local teams, strong presence in the market, boots on the ground, being even closer to our investees to fully understand what's happening now in this, time of turmoil. But actually, we've always done that. So for us, it's nothing new, and we just continue with that.
And looking ahead, what's Finance in Motion strategy moving forward? What are we going to see more in the future?
First of all, obviously we build on our strength, yeah? And therefore priority number one is scale your successful products. Because obviously this is what investors appreciate and love, so let's do just more of that. Our second priority is what we call so-called outgrower scheme. What we mean with that is that we actually build innovative solutions alongside, next to our core products. For example, offering co-investment opportunities or offering segregate managed accounts to individual investors which want to have a focus on a particular sub-strategy that they identified in a fund, for example. Or we're trying to repackage assets in a way as investors want them to be bundled. But we also offer risk participation either in single assets or in asset pools. And last but not least, but that's probably more a midterm, let's say, vision that we have, we want to become the go-to platform for investors that look for a broad range of different products in the impact space, particularly looking after green products, but also products that cover financial inclusion.
And since your foundation, or since the foundation of Finance in Motion, you've been playing a key role in this industry and you've been recognized globally and awarded for that. So how important are external partnerships for your work, and actually what impact do they have, these collaborations?
Indeed, partnership is something that we consider extremely critical in our success, and also it's really something of our heart. So it's not just from a business perspective that we see it makes a lot of sense to do that, but also really because we feel, only when you collaborate, you can really create, you can be innovative, you can move mountains. So we actually have very, very broad partnerships. If you look at the markets where we operate, it's, we cooperate with regulators, with service providers, with research institutes, with associations, just to mention a few. And this is really critical because when you look at emerging markets, what you need is a very broad range of information that you need to have at your fingertips so that you can really make the best investment decisions. But what obviously is for us even more core is partnerships with our clients and also with our investees. And this is where, we're very grateful for the partnership that we have with BBVA, particularly in Latin America, where we very intensively cooperate and collaborate when it comes to the green and sustainable bond market. We're very proud that we are the anchor investor of the blue bond that BBVA Colombia issued, the first blue bond actually issued in that country. But we are also certainly very grateful for, the invitations that we got for co-investments, mutual invitations, where we can jointly serve our clients better. But there's also certainly an exchange at a different level. For example, an exchange on methodologies when it comes to impact measurement and management. There's also something, where we want to collaborate, where we also want to get better, better collectively, better individually. So, we're very much looking forward to continue that collaboration and really look for new initiatives to come where we can together move mountains.
Thank you very much, Silvia, for taking the time with us today.
Pleasure.
So your insights and expertise are really, really valuable, and I'm sure are going to be really appreciated by our audience. And actually, I think BBVA and Finance in Motion are sharing the same values when it comes to sustainability and inclusion. And as a final note, I would like to present this recognition as an acknowledgement to you and the Finance in Motion team, and to be officially a Greenfluencer. And we hope that your continued commitment will inspire others and as well will pave the way so that we all get a more sustainable and inclusive future.
Thanks a lot. That's really, really going to my heart, because that's also an illustration of the good collaboration, right? But what matters even more is what we can achieve on the ground. So let's continue to do that and make this much, much bigger, from this small tree to a much, much bigger forest. Thank you.
For more contents, follow us on LinkedIn, write BBVA Corporate and Investment Banking, and visit our website www.bbvaciv.com.